coronavirus.
What up, dude?
Oh.
Hey guys, Jason Godman here with pressurewashhelp.com, and today I'm going to talk to the man that went from 0 months. That is right. But first, did you hear about that whole that green stuff on your house and how that it can cause you sickness? I think it's called the coronavirus or the corona allergy or something.
Yeah. I don't know. All I've done is I'm gonna drink as much of this Corona as possible to build up my immunity to this damn thing. And
that's probably a great vaccine right there. I mean, can you imagine the vaccine of that? Just from the vaccine of drinking Corona. I mean, isn't that what a vaccine is? They just give you a little bit of it.
I don't know. I just wanted to drink a lot of beer, and I thought I'd come on your show and we'd try to solve this problem.
I mean, here's the thing, man. If it gets on your roof and you just didn't give them Corona, I mean, I thought that's what you're supposed to do, right?
Something like that. I don't know. I want the Coronas for myself. I'm spraying them with the bleach, killing all that shit. We're good. Oh, do you cuss on your?
That's all right.
I ain't gonna cuss anymore.
I'm probably not going to get monetized on this one anyway. So,
that's funny.
So with that being said, tell me about yourself, Bobby, who you are, where you're at, and what you do.
Yeah, so my name is Bobby Walker. I live here in Orlando, Florida. Personal side of my life, I've been married for almost 22 years, not quite. I almost said 42. Feels like 42, but I've been married for almost 22 years. Got 3 awesome kids, and I was in the corporate world for a long time and kind of got the axe. And then because of the axe, I started my own company. I was laying in bed one night, scared out of my mind because I knew I was losing my job, and I went and started a window cleaning company literally overnight. A few months later, we added pressure washing to it, and here we are. We just finished our 3rd year. We've done over $1 million in total sales in our first 3 years, and we're going to do $1 million this year, and I think we can do a whole hell of a lot more going forward. So
awesome. I think I really screwed up here. We might have to start over, but we're going to see here.
Oh, okay.
I put it in private versus putting it in public. I did change it. Let's see if we can start getting some people.
What do you want to start over? Or
yeah, here we got some people now, I believe.
Okay.
If you can hear us and you see us, please give us a shout just to make sure that we're going down.
Okay.
So,
man, we did all that stuff for nothing.
I know.
So I'm gonna drink another beer.
All right. So let's go back to that. The coronavirus. Do you have the coronavirus? Do you have the green algae all over your house? That corona algae that's growing on your house? I mean, that is some nasty stuff. Have you seen the corona algae, especially when it gets on the roof? How do you get rid of that stuff, Bobby?
Well, all I know is if I drink enough of these, I'll build up the immunity to this thing. I don't know how we get it off the house, but I'm just going to make sure I don't.
Make sure you have the immunity.
Yeah, I'm going to be good. And then like with my kids, every morning I'm just getting the chemical pump out and I'm just spraying them down with bleach, making sure they're good to go.
Isn't bleach kills everything, right?
Yeah, but not the kids. I'm just doing a 50-50 mix on the kiddos. So
just
I'm working on my own immunity, and then the kids, we're throwing a little bleach on them.
They can deal with their own self.
Going from there.
All right, guys. So again, tell me a little bit about yourself, Bobby, who you are, where you came from. How did you get from 0 to 20,000 in only 8 months?
Yeah. So just who I am. I live here in Orlando, Florida. I'm 41 years old. I've been married for almost 22 years. 3 years and a month ago, I had found out I was losing my job in the corporate world. And I was laying in bed one night staring at the ceiling the day I found out I was losing my job, just scared out of my mind. I drove to Home Depot the next morning, bought some window cleaning supplies, spent around $100-ish, and we just started cleaning windows. And then like 3-4 months later, we added pressure washing, soft washing to our business. So we just finished year 3. We've now done $1 million of total revenue. We did over $500,000 last year, and this year we're going to do $1 million in revenue. So we've, it's been cool. I'm loving the ride, and
But wait a minute. I thought they said you can't make no money in Florida. I mean, that's all I've ever heard. You can't make money in Florida. It's the $99 guy. How are you going to make from $1 million from $99 guy? How do you do that here in Florida?
Do you want my honest answer, or do you want the like political correct stuff?
So you're probably going to hear some cussing on this one because it's Bob.
No F-bombs.
Okay, that's fine.
For sure. No F-bombs, yeah.
But honestly, I want your honest opinion on everybody's the $99 guy in Florida.
Okay, so the short answer, and then we'll talk about some strategies and stuff. The short answer is I chose not to be a bitch. I had this experience, and it kind of like opened my eyes to this. So I was at a very successful branch. Like, as a matter of fact, we were the top performing branch in the whole country in this particular company, and not just by a little bit, by a lot. And so, of course, I was over the whole region there, and I would talk to like the upper management, you know, the executives and stuff, and the vice president of residential sales and Lou Sepulveda. And we were talking about this stuff, and we would always laugh because we were in Oklahoma, and everyone else all throughout the country would always say, well, we can't do what those guys in Oklahoma are doing. You don't understand. It's different here. That was the phrase. You don't understand. It's different here. Now go with me for a second. But I know why you're chuckling, but go with me. So I was over Tulsa, Oklahoma. And then I was also over Oklahoma City. Well, these two branches were badass, but they would also say about each other, well, we can't do what they're doing because it's different here. And I'm like, you're 60 minutes apart from each other. It's not different. It's the same people. And then I transferred down to Fort Lauderdale, Florida with this same company. And all the people in Fort Lauderdale, because they moved me down there to turn this branch around, they would all tell me, you don't understand, it's different here. And I'm like, it's not different here. You guys just don't bust your ass and you don't work hard. They also transferred me to Virginia to turn 2 branches around. And guess what they said? Same shit. Sorry. Cuss alert. The same stuff. You don't understand, it's different here. And I had a Norfolk office and a Richmond office. And they would both complain about each other. And the point is this: every person out there, it doesn't matter where you're at in the country, where you're at in your state, we all think that our little unique thing is special. We think we're special, and we think that we're different. We're not different. Winners win, losers lose. And I chose to make the decision that if I wasn't going to win, it was 100% my fault. And I wasn't going to accept the fact that the cheap guys in Florida were going to keep me down. So I just listened to the guys that had already won. I read the books, listened to the podcast, you know, whatever it may be, paid for the courses, all that stuff. And I did what they said to do. And I refused to let the $99 guy keep me down. And we've got more of them here in Florida than anyone. Yeah, I mean, we got them here in Florida more than anyone. And we've rose to the top.
So what I'm hoping that it's streaming. If not, you may have to come back. Hopefully it'll go. But the thing of it is, I'm down here in Florida right now. I actually came down for a Disney vacation. I was like, hey, Bobby, let's do a live. So that is why we are actually live in Orlando. I have red here because I've been out in the sun all day.
Same here.
It was like 70 some degrees today. And on Thursday, when we're getting there, it's supposed to be 91 degrees here. And I'm going to be dead. I'm going to be, what about Cody giving us $10? What about that?
I want some of that money. I want that. It's my house.
It was probably supposed to be 9 cents, but he gave me a $10 tip. So I'll take it, Cody. But that being said, that is why I'm doing this. And so we're going to talk about how Bobby took his business from $0 to $20,000. Now,
I thought we were focusing on the coronavirus here.
Well, that is pretty funny too. Yeah. And I wanted to just bring it up to be funny. I was thinking about getting the mask and bringing the mask on. And then my wife's like, over in China, they ran out of masks. So you know what they did? They went and started getting like A-cup bras and just putting it on their face and doing it that way. So
you want a fun fact that has nothing to do with what we're talking about right now? Other than this duck thing. Fun fact, I have a duck-shaped birthmark.
Do you?
Look at this. Right here on my arm. It's like a rubber duck. Here's the body. Right there. There's the beak. And there's his head.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, carry on.
so the coronavirus is really taking off. But let's get back to I think this episode, we're probably going to hit a record of how many people we got on here, because I've only been on here 10 minutes and it's already up to 70 some people. So we're probably going to, the biggest number I've had is 99. So let's see if we can break that.
Hell yeah, we're going to break that.
That. So with that being said, tell me, how did you get business when you first started taking off?
So on day one, we did two things.
Well, first off, you lost your job, right?
Yeah.
So when you lose your job, a lot of times that means you're going to hustle really hard, because you either eat or you don't eat, and you got to make it happen. So tell me what you did to make it happen.
And I'll say I was too much of a vagina to do it. I was too scared. Well, when I found out I was losing my job, I'm like, well, hell, let's do this. Let's, what's the worst thing I can do? Be unemployed? Here we are. But from a strategic standpoint, I'm starting to slur my words, Jason. We just recorded a podcast on my channel and I've had a few beers, but from a strategic standpoint, it was very, very simple. We got in front of a lot of people. I did what I always taught my salespeople in the corporate world. I would say, if you get in front of enough people, even if you're bad at what you do, you'll make sales. So
but what if they tell you no?
There's a saying, it's SW, SW, SWN, and it stands for some will, some won't, so what, next. You're going to get 100 no's for every yes. And that's why you need to get in front of like 400 people a day. And if you get in front of enough people, even if you're bad, you'll get sales. And if you're talented and if you're good, you'll get a lot of sales. So as a new guy, we did two things. We got in front of a crap ton of people every day. And we used like one of those lead generation services for the first couple of months that helped us out. And because, a lot of people like to hate on the low cost guy, that $99 guy. Now, we're one of the more expensive companies in our area, but when you're just trying to pay the bills, hey, I don't have a pride problem. I did what I had to do to pay the bills. So I'd get on Thumbtack and I'd quote the jobs as necessary to get the job, and I got the bills paid. And then we started doing that thing where you cycle out the cheap customers and and get the high paying customers. And here we are 3 years later. We've got a company with a good average ticket price and high paying customers.
So with that being said, talking about getting rid of the cheap customers, what's your thought on the $99 customer versus the $300 customer, the $1,000 customer?
What's my thought on them? I don't want them, and I don't mean that in an arrogant way. I have a relatively low minimum for a pressure washing company. So my minimum charge is $175, but we can go do a $175 job in 20 minutes. So I'm okay with that. And we have good follow-up systems in place, which I'm positive you've talked to these guys about follow-up before. So the way I view it is, I've got that lower minimum, but it's enough to cover my costs and everything and make it worth our time. We get out there, and we're going to get more work from them in the future. But someone that's only willing to pay that $99 for that driveway or whatever, I've just accepted the fact that they're not my customer. And here's the thing, guys. The dollar store makes money and Tiffany's makes money, but they don't share the same customers. So I've just accepted the fact the jobs to make the same amount of money that $99 guy does.
And that's 100%. There's a great podcast that if you haven't listened to, I've mentioned it on here before. It is the Social Media Examiner or Social Media Marketing. And he actually had a guest on there talking about basically the $99 customer and the $5,000 customer and $1,000 customer. And the only way you got to know what those people do. You got to know who your customer is. You want to put a name to that customer. You want to know where they shop. Do they shop at Kroger's? Do they shop at Costco? Do they shop at Sam's? Do they shop at Whole Foods? In all these different places, if they're shopping at Whole Foods, they're probably got the money. And that's who we want to focus on. We don't want to focus on the Sam's customer or the discount, because it even comes down to the wording. Those places are going to use, basically how are we going to upsell is going to be from, instead of using a discount, when you talk about rich people or the higher market people, they don't care about a discount. They don't give two rats. Now, what they might care about is an upgrade. You know, maybe the way we talk about it, instead of saying giving a discount, what if we upgrade you? And if we upgrade you, that right there will help you out in the long run to do that. So how did you start getting your customers? What did you have to do? Did you just go out and put out 500 door hangers and be like, well, that didn't work? Or what? How did you actually get your customers?
Oh, I will be honest. I did put out 500 door hangers. Sorry, you saw my comments. So Jason's logged into my computer, so I'm able to type as him. I did put out 500 door hangers and got no results. And as a matter of fact, we were just talking about this a little earlier today. I said I did somewhere between $2,000 and $5,000 or $2,000 or $5,000 door hangers with very little results. Like, we didn't get much because our designs were bad. I was putting them in the right places. Like, I'd done my market research and I had been putting them in the right places, but my designs were bad. But the reason I didn't quit, and I know what you're asking, so you had said, well, did you do 500 and it just didn't work? Well, of course not. But you and I both get a lot of people that reach out to us, and they will literally say, dude, I just put out 500 and I didn't get anything.
And they don't work.
Jason,
don't work.
Jason, I've sent out 5,000 postcards at a time and only gotten one phone call before.
Yep.
And the guys, so there's a few things here. So just go with me, okay? Just go with me. First off, you've got to play the long game. If you're starting a business, we're playing a long game. It's not a get rich quick scheme, okay? It's the long, it's the marathon that we're running. And two, we've got to accept failure and embrace failure and know that when we fail, there's failing as a verb and there's failing as a noun. Failing as a verb is like 100% cool. I did something and it failed.
And I learned something.
Failing as a noun is I am a failure because I quit, right? So I embrace failure as a verb. And whenever I put out all these thousands and thousands of flyers, I kept doing it because I knew it worked. Because instead of listening to all the little whiny bitches on Facebook that always want to say, you don't understand, it's different here, I listened to the guys that have built multi-million-dollar businesses, have done things like flyers, like direct mail and stuff like that. And I knew it worked. So I knew that when I was having a lack of success, I knew the problem wasn't the medium, the problem was me. And I had discovered over some time and failure that the problem I was having was my design. So I worked on the design, got that up and going, and then we started getting a lot of traction and a lot of success with flyers. Now, we built our business from zero. We do a lot more than $20,000 a month now, but we got our first $20,000 a month just doing flyers only. We just did it. And it'll work in your area too. If you don't have a big marketing budget, you can do more than that with flyers. It works, and it'll work anywhere.
So what have you done in your business? What was one thing that you struggled with, and how did you overcome that struggle?
Well, early on, like, I've got a different struggle today. So my business is growing. So now I've got a lot of employees. So including me, there's 9 of us. I've got a part-timer, and there's me. And I'm actually a little overstaffed right now because I've hired some guys getting ready for like our first busy season of the year.
Right.
So I'm actually I should probably have like 7 guys, but I have 9, right? 7, including me. So my problem right now is kind of like cash flow, because I'm in that area that you probably know this real well. It's called cash flow purgatory, and it's between about $300,000-400,000 and $1 million. And it's like really tough to grow. But that's my problem now. But my problem earlier, frankly, it was aside from like that design issue that I had with my flyers, it was discouragement and fear, stress, wanting to quit. And what would happen with me is, like, when I started my business, but there was a lot of times where I'd want to quit. Hey, we got 100. That's
120
awesome.
minutes. Guys.
Yeah, that's awesome. But I had realized that this is what I wanted to do. But every time I would get really stressed because you're scared to pay the bills, you're scared to pay for your partner, who was my son at the time, and all that kind of stuff. I remembered my why. And guys, I don't know if Jason talks to you guys about your why in business. He probably does.
I haven't, but talk about it more.
So your why, it's just what you think. It's why are you doing this? Why are you choosing to take on the stress, the frustration, the risk, all of these things of building a business. And when you and like for me, let me share my why. Yours is probably my toes and a fruity drink. Now that's my icon of my why. But really what my why is being able to do fun things with my family all the time. So every time I started thinking to myself, and I wanted to do it before retirement age, before I was like 70, right? So every time I would have that stress of thinking, why the hell am I doing this right now when I could call a recruiter and go make 150,000 a year, blah, 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 and all this stuff, is because I knew that even though that was a good income, it wasn't going to get me
To your why.
to my why, at least not soon enough.
Right.
So my biggest struggle early on was was discouragement, fear, stress, anxiety. And what got me through it was remembering this is why I want to do it. And every time I was tempted to want to go get that job again, I knew that that job didn't get me to the why. So I stayed locked in.
And you probably wanted to be your own boss, which you said that, but
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
who wants to work for the man at the end of the day? And honestly, I think that is what a lot of us in here are reason why you're wanting to do it. You either want to take your, here's the thing. If you're working a job that you're making, a lot of these guys don't make that 100 grand a year like you were talking about. A lot of these guys are making 50, 60. Is that all? You're never going to get to that next level. You look at your boss. Look at your boss. Look at this boss or the next boss up. Mm-hmm. Do you want to be in his shoes in 5 years, 10 years? Look at his car he's driving. If he's driving an old crappy car, or if he lives in an old crappy house, do you really want to be that next person? And the only way that you can really take yourself out of that position and put and go up to the next level is really to do it on your own. Because at the end of the day, unless you went to college to become a doctor, lawyer, an engineer, something like that, there's not that many jobs out there that you can make 100 grand and work part-time pretty much. Like I've told you, there's a guy in the middle of nowhere, Indiana, literally between Cincinnati and Indianapolis. It's Connersville, Indiana. It's dead, nowhere. And he makes over 100 grand a year, 125 in his pocket at the end of the day, and works part-time hours. So with that, I usually have a whole list of questions that I can read off of, and I'm just going off frame of memory. I've walked around Magic Kingdom all day, and I think it was like 7 miles, and I haven't walked 7 miles, and I couldn't tell you how long. So the sun's shining down here in Florida, and it's great, and it's awesome, and all that kind of stuff. So what percentage do you do? Mostly residential, or are you doing or a little bit of commercial, or what is your focus?
Up until this year, we've done like 98% residential, and then so this year we're going to start pushing for commercial stuff, but we'll still be primarily residential. Now there is a question, just FYI. Now I'm going to refuse to answer them until we're at 35 likes. So I've got expertise on this, but we got 25 likes. There's 101 people on here. Give Jason a thumbs up, and I'll answer that one when we get there. But yeah, we do mostly residential right now, but we're starting to go after commercial work.
So we got where I am getting a lot of people on here. We're getting some awesome feedback from a lot of retards out there. So we're having to
we got to hide a lot of comments.
We're hiding comments because we are getting a lot of people on here, but that is what it is. So with that being said, that's why Bobby and I are both sitting here hiding comments, because we can't,
Can I ask them a question?
Yes, go ahead, because some of you just tell them what you think there.
Well, first off, we got to 40 likes, so I will answer the flyer thing. Yeah, that was good. Thank you guys for that. Oh my God, this guy. Hold on, let me hide this guy real quick. Hide him. Okay.
Which one did you hide?
I can't even say his username.
Oh, okay, I think I just blocked him.
So, so before I answer the flyer thing, guys, for me. Like, I know Jason's really good, like on the technical side of things. Like, now he's good at the business side of things, but he's good also with like, pressurewashinghelp.com. I'm not your good pressure washing help guy. Okay. It's just not really my thing. And it's not what I'm passionate about. We got egg-shaped penis in the chat room. That's kind of cool. But so what I would like you to do is, if you guys have any questions, specifically, an area that I think I have some that can help you guys is if you're a smaller business and you're really trying to grow and scale, I can probably help you with some of that. But back to this flyer thing, so we grew to 20,000 a month doing flyers. Someone asked, what should you put on flyers to be able to get a good response? So let me give you some basic tips here. Okay. First off, you want your flyer to have a really good headline or title at the top. And what that headline needs to be is what you offer. Okay. So most of you guys are probably pressure washing companies. So it could be something like house washing, roof cleaning, and more. It could be house washing, roof cleaning, and window cleaning, something like that. So you want the headline to give your two or three highest ticket services: house washing, roof cleaning, paver sealing. Okay, that's your headline with like the little ... showing that you have more. So that's the first step. The second one is you want to have a visual that does the same thing. So if you have these multiple services, have a photo of each one of them. Have a house wash photo, and on the photo it says house washing, and then have a roof cleaning photo that says roof cleaning. Hopefully it's before and afters in each of these photos. Have a paver sealing one that says paver sealing, but it's mostly visual, right? Have a photo for each one of those main services. So now what you've done is, at a glance, you've caught the attention of someone that's either more inclined to read or more inclined to see the visual. And the reason for that, put yourself in your potential customer's shoes. Okay. When you come home, if you see a door hanger on the door or a flyer under, half under the doormat or whatever, what do? Most people, for some reason, don't know why, they're like, oh God, that someone put a door hanger, and you're just going to crumple it up, right? So you need that. The reason you need that header is because you've got like 1 or 2 seconds to let them know what you do. And you got to remember that when you're putting these things out, you're not going to convince someone that they need your service. If someone doesn't think they need your service, you're not going to sell them anything. All you're trying to do is find the people that already know they need your service. So your headline and those photos, those visuals, need to let that person know that you offer a solution to the problem that they already have. Okay. So those are the first 2 steps: the headline, both in visual and word form. And then the second thing that you want to make sure that you do is don't waste a bunch of real estate with your company's name or with your website and all that, or with your logo. I mean, with the name or with the logo, because your logo or your name is not going to convince someone to use you. The fact that you solve a problem that they have, that's why they're going to use you. So like on my stuff, which I got some, Jason, just grab one of those, just right there on that thing real quick. So on my stuff, my logo is on there, but it's right there. See it on, right, yeah, there you go. So here's one that we use. We use these clip flyers. Look, now my logo is right here, but actually this is one of my old ones. But what I've done, spotless exterior cleaning, and here's the services that we offer. Okay. We don't waste a lot of space. And actually my newest design, this is actually one of my old designs. My newer design, my logo is about 1/3 of the size as it is on this one. So that's how you can set up your flyers. That's like your crash course. We can't spend the whole day on it. I can probably talk 20 minutes on this topic, but clear logo or clear headline, clear photos, and then an offer.
Where's a good place to, I know you talked about it, you can go ahead and share it here too. Where's a good place to get a design or something like that?
Well,
you can plug your own too.
Okay, yeah, there's a couple of options here. So if you want to just pay for a design, like when
for instance, if you want to find out more about Bobby, you can go down in the description, and I put his video about X-jetting. It's a great video on how to X-jet a house, all the steps you need to do, even for downstreaming.
Yeah,
is a lot of the same thing, except X-jetting versus pressure washing. They got a lot of stucco down here. That's all they got down here. If you don't have that and you want to just, regular house downstream, that's fine. The video is the same. It's a great video. You can also go down there and subscribe to his channel. And then also what he also does is you can go to, he's going to tell you here where you can get some awesome designs.
He doesn't want to say the word. So guys, you got a couple of options. First off, if you just want to get a nice professional design, there's two print places I use. I use ILY Creative. Here, I'll just type it, ILY. ILYcreative.com and teamwashlife.com. Those are the two print shops that I use for design work and printing. They're both awesome. I love them equally as much. You can also go to nobitchzone.com. That's my website, nobitchzone.com. And I've got a course actually, and I'm not here to like pitch my course, but in my course, I've got multiple clip flyers, door hangers, flyers, quote forms, all that stuff, designs that I paid professionally to get made, and you can get them all for the price of basically like one or two of them, so you can do that. But those are the places that I go to get mine.
Awesome. So what you, I know I think you did the book. So what's your goal for 2020? Or what's your thought on goals? Do you need goals, or can you just shoot from the hip?
No,
you can get there.
Well, you know what? First off, you can shoot from the hip, and you can have some success.
Right.
The fact is this: you will not have as much success as you could have if you're not doing goals. So this is like very, very personal to me. And when I show this to you, you guys might laugh and say, oh, look, the old guy has a book that he writes stuff in. I'm a digital guy. Quarter. I do this for 1 quarter. And I have my goals. I don't even think you knew this. I've got my goals right here, my annual goals. And then this book will, it's a daily planner where I sit down and I break out 1 quarter's worth of success criteria that points towards my annual goals. And then I do what they call a weekly preview, where I say, okay, this week I've got to achieve these 3 basic things to point me towards my quarterly goals, which obviously point me towards my annual goals. And then it breaks it down to daily. So goal setting is extremely important, and tracking it and staying focused on it is ultra important too.
All right. So you use an X-Jet to house wash. Do you use a proportioner? You know what a proportioner is?
Yeah.
If so, I'm running an M5 in the land of stucco.
Okay. Now he's actually asking about that proportioned insert. Yeah. So yeah, actually, no, we don't. The fact is, we could use one of like the bigger orifice proportion inserts, but my guys keep losing them. So we just go straight through that X-Jet. So which I think is like 4-to-1. So it's a pretty strong mix. But here with stucco, as you know, Mitch, you don't need a mix as strong as we do, but our bleach is so damn cheap here that that's what we do, and it works.
Get it done and be done with it. That's why I look at it, especially on stucco. So please answer how can I get more work in a dry state? So he's asking in California how to get more work in a dry state. You just, here's going to be my answer. You got to look at services that you can promote.
You're not going to drink that beer, obviously, so I will.
You can go ahead. So you got to look at services that you can promote. And there's a lot, if you're in California, you can maybe do solar cleaning because that's the land of solar panels, or, if cleaning smog, they're all about the smog and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. You can also clean concrete pads, dry, into restaurants, because that's something that even though mold's not growing, you're still getting nasty grease and crud and all that kind of stuff down on the ground. So you've got to look at what services you can offer, and then you can go from there. And then we can market those things.
Yeah. And I think, so I don't know the answer for you there in California, but here's what I do know. There's pressure washing / soft washing companies in California that are very successful. So if I was there, the very first thing I would do is I would Google search the services that I offer in my area, find the biggest companies, go to their website, and see what services are their biggest services. Then you're selling the most of, which is what they're advertising the most, and then start copying them. The best way to win is not to recreate the wheel. The best way to win is to look at other people that are already winning and do more of that.
So Bobby is trying to become the clip king of the world. He's got a long way to go. He's got some mentors that are like way up here, but he's going to try to conquer that. And somebody's asking right here, do you target a specific houses? Which this is going to go even back to your door hangers. Do you target specific houses for clip flyers, or do you just hit every house on the horizon?
Okay, that's a really good question. So right now, if I have a sales rep that doesn't have any appointments booked for the day, okay, he's going to kind of go carpet bomb an area. He's going to throw napalm down and just clip flyer everything. And that's when you get the most complaints, to be honest with you. But I'm okay with the complaints. But like, say tomorrow, my son Caleb, who's in sales, he's got like 5 or 6 sales appointments already set up for the day. So what he's going to do is on the way into an appointment and into that neighborhood, he's going to hit 20 or 30 houses on the way in. And he's going to make sure the ones that have the dirty roofs or the dirty house, those are the 2 things we really focus on. Or for us, also a paver driveway, because we do paver sealing. He's going to make sure that he hits those. And then on the way out, he's going to hit 20 or 30 more on the way out. So there's a couple ways to do it. But like right now, going into the busy season, we're like in carpet bomb mode, and we're ready to just get those sons of bitches out there and make it happen. So.
Make it happen. Make it rain, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Make it rain.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys look like
what? A WWF tag team from the 90s. That's hilarious. Sorry, I just said I was gonna drop an F-bomb and there it came. Sorry. That's funny.
All right. So what if you were a new guy and you were trying to start, and one of the questions here was for he's trying to make $50,000 a year to quit his full-time job.
Oh, bro.
What would be one thing that you would want to do to try to do that? Or just let's see.
Let me say a thing, okay? Because I don't know where you're at. All right. I don't know where you're at. So first off, you definitely need to do your market research, because I don't know where you are. And you know, if you're like me, I live in a big metropolitan area here in Orlando. So I could kind of like close my eyes, throw a dart, and probably find someone that needs my services. But like, I'm from Oklahoma. So if I was back in Oologah, Oklahoma, where I went to school, Oologah, right? Oologah, right next to Talala, Tallala, Oklahoma, right? If I was there, I would really, really need to make sure that I focus on my market research so I can determine a service area that can support me, okay? So that's the first thing you need to do. And then once you've done that, once you've determined, okay, here's an area that has enough people to support me, the short answer is you have to get in front of a massive amount of people every day, okay? Now, could that be AdWords? Yes, it could be, depending on if I'm in Oologah, Oklahoma, AdWords isn't going to be good for me. But is it AdWords? Maybe. Is it flyers? Probably. Is it door knocking? Probably. Okay. So guys, listen, this isn't just the guy that asked, but this is anyone out there. There's nothing new out there. There's no new tricks. All marketing is getting in front of enough of the right people. And for guys like us, listen, 99% of the people, there's 126 people, probably 124 of them, plus the 2 of us, we got into pressure washing because we didn't have enough money to get into a business that had a high barrier to entry. We got into something that had a low barrier to entry. So there's no secret here. You just got to get in front of enough people. And if you have the money to do that on an expensive way with EDDM or AdWords, do it. If you don't, stop being a pussy, bust your ass, and get out there and get in front of enough people door knocking or flyers.
And it's like I say, you get customers 2 ways. There's only 2 ways you can get customers. You either work your tail off and you spend a lot of time learning it and walking and that kind of thing, or you open your wallet.
Yeah.
One of the two. You either open your wallet to get customers,
Yeah.
or you go out there and you start knocking on doors.
You're going to pay for them.
Yes.
Yeah. It just might be time or money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And time is money at the end of the day. You know, I always say, you know, as a business owner, there's different tasks. You know, there's the $20 an hour task, which is riding on the truck and spraying water on the house and all that kind of thing. There's $100 task. There's $1,000 task. There's $10,000 task an hour. An hour. I said that right. An hour, not $20 an hour and just $10,000. No, $10,000 an hour. And you say, well, what's a $10,000? Well, it might be this landing page that I worked or I paid to get done that will make me $10,000 an hour. But if I didn't work on that, then I never would be able to get off. If I stayed on the truck and never worked on these tasks, I'll never get off of this truck here. So how did you get off the truck? You just told your son, you're on the truck, I'm not out there.
Well, you know, again, the short answer is we busted our ass and we did the flyers. Remember, I can't remember if this was on my show earlier or on this one, but I had said that with sales and marketing, your goal is to create a problem for operations. Like the guys that focus on operations, the guys that want to tinker on their equipment in the garage every day, they're the ones that are not going to grow the business, right? So the guys that say sales or marketing, then sales, and then cashing the check. If you focus on those three things, what will happen is you're going to grow and you're going to create a strain on your business on the operations side. And then you fix that. And that's what I did. We grew, we focused on sales and marketing, created that operations problem. And then we hired a guy or two, which got me. So I was in the field. I did everything for 13 months. So it took me 13 months to get out of the field. Probably could have done it sooner, but you have those self-limiting beliefs and stuff like that. But you've got to grow, sell, market, and then get out.
Talking about self-limiting beliefs, how did you overcome that? Because that, I think, is a huge fear that a lot of people have of, can I really do that? Am I really going to go to the next level?
You know, how did I overcome it? I have one belief, because self-limiting beliefs tend to be more emotional than logical, right? They're emotional. And one thing I've said to myself for a long this business, even when I do the same, but I've just said, listen, no one's better. Now there's someone that's better at this than I am. There's our connection's unstable. I hope everyone can still hear me. I've never seen that pop up. But no one's better than me. So what I've had to accept is not as good as the other guy. It's not because he's a better person, but because I just haven't honed my skills yet. So I've just tried to fly off of my instruments. And whenever I feel discouraged, know that we all have the same ability. And the difference between me and the guy that's the billionaire is that he believed in himself, and he just did these particular actions that got him to the billion. And I've decided to be a big old vagina and do the stuff that I was doing. So
gotcha. Well, hopefully this lagging will stop here.
You know what? It might be. Why don't you log off there, because we're streaming it twice, and then because we can still. Can you see the comments over here?
As long as we're not getting no stupid. I was kind of going through some of the comments. That's what I was looking for. So, so that is probably one of the hardest things that you will have to overcome is getting off the truck. Moving from taking that I can do this. And here's what I always tell my guys, and this is what I always, if I can have a guy that does 75 to 80% as good as I can, I'm good with that, because there's nobody out there going to get 100%, nobody at all. So that is one thing that I always try to shoot for, is that 70 to 80% range. And here's the thing. There's customers out there that it don't matter what you do, as long as if you can get it 90% clean. And Bobby's even got a lower threshold than that. But I always said, if you can get it 90% clean, you're going to be good, because you know what? That last 10%, you're never going to make that woman happy. She's going to nitpick you to death. She's going to worry about that extra $10. It doesn't matter what you do. You could clean that house 3 times and she's still not going to be happy. And so that customer, you just got to deal with her and move on. But 90% of the other customers are going to be just fine with you cleaning their house, and they will be just fine with everything. So, you know, I always said, you got to get it at least. If I can teach somebody to do it 70 to 80% as good as I can, I'm good enough. And what I've learned is some of these guys can do it better than I can at the end of the day, you know, and they might take a little bit more pride in it than I did, you know. And so at that point, that is what helps me out, and that's what helps my business grow, is because now I'm trusting these guys to actually clean versus myself.
Yeah. Thoughts on that, but I'm not going to share them if we only have 51 likes.
So you
I'm on my boys' channel here. We got to get him.
Get Jason to make clip flyers with you.
I could. Should we? That's funny. That's funny. I should put your ass to work if we're at my house.
I'm not a big clip fan, fly, whatever you want to call them. But you know what? It works for successful with them. And so, you know, and you know, people will say it's just like yard signs, and well, you can't do it in my neighborhood because it's against the law. And you know, when I hear that a lot of times is excuses. Oh, you can't do that because of this. Well, if you can't do it in that neighborhood, go to the neighborhood that you can.
You know what I hear?
What do you hear?
Bitches.
Where do you go at for that? If you
go to nobitchzone.com if you want to change. Nobitchzone.com. No joke. So
go ahead.
Oh, well, I was going to say, there's actually a good, speaking of that, somebody just said, seems like the market is becoming oversaturated. Please discuss. Do you want me to share my thoughts on that?
Share it to me.
Do I have to be nice?
No, you don't have to be nice.
So here's the thing. Of course, a market can become oversaturated, but I promise you, your market isn't as saturated as mine. Okay, I promise it's not. And here's how you can know if your market is saturated. Is there any big companies at all in your area? Is there anyone winning at all? And if somebody's winning, then your thoughts of being oversaturated really aren't grounded in reality. They're grounded in being a bitch. Now, let me tell you guys what I mean by being a bitch, because it can sound harsher than what it really is. And I think Jason's nicer than I am. But I have this thing called the no bitch zone. And I define a bitch as somebody that will not pursue their dreams based on what other people may say, think, or do, or someone that will blame others for their lack of success. And you probably don't live in an area that has as many pressure washing companies per capita as I do. It's just, like when you come to the state of Florida, when you cross the border, they ask you 2 questions. They ask you, do you want a real estate license or do you want a pressure washer? You have to choose one of the 2. Okay. So the fact is, when I see an industry, or when I see a market and there's a whole lot of a particular business out there, that doesn't tell me that the business is oversaturated. That tells me that there's a lot of demand for that service. And here's the thing, guys. If the $99 guy, that cheap guy, if he's hurting your business,
you're going after the wrong customer.
Well, all you are is an overpriced $99 guy.
True.
And let me explain what I mean by that. If you're charging this and the $99 guy keeps getting all the jobs from you, what that means is that gap right there, you haven't built any value for the customer for them to want to buy your service. So if you're here and he's there and he's getting the jobs, all you are is an overpriced version of him. So what you have to do is work really hard and do the right things to create perceived value for the customer, and understand that some customers are cheap. And don't for a second say, well, you don't understand, in my market, everyone's cheap. No, you live in the same country we all live in. And you have to pick your people. And remember, the dollar store makes money and Tiffany's makes money. but they don't share the same customers. People that shop at the dollar store don't shop at Tiffany's and vice versa. So pick your customer, and then if you're going after Tiffany's, don't get butthurt that 60% of the people shop at the dollar store. All right.
100%. I love that analogy right there. That's perfect, because it's like everybody had, and figuring out who shops at Tiffany. You know how the best way to figure out those type of people is go shop at Tiffany's. I'm not saying you have to buy it.
Yeah.
Go in there and see who's shopping in there, because that is the type of customer that you want. You do not want the 90. I can tell you who's the $99 guy. You might as well go to Walmart, and you'll find out all kinds of people at Walmart that sees that. And you don't want that customer. That is the last person you want as your customer. Yeah. You want to find out who's shopping at Tiffany's, so that way you can go find it. We have a real rich neighborhood. It was at one time, it was like number 9 in the country. It's called Indian Hill. And you know what? That is where we wanted our market at. And that's how you get those $1,000, $2,000 jobs, $5,000 jobs is in that neighborhood. And so, that is where we put a lot of marketing, and, a lot of those people, they worry about their time. They worry about, that kind of thing. They don't care about money. They got more money to know what to do with, but they do care about their time. They care about what they do with their family and that kind of thing. And that is what we want to focus on. A lot of people want to be like, well, here's a $50 coupon. They could care less about that $50 coupon in that neighborhood. Yeah. If they're spending $5,000, they don't care about $50. If they did, they wouldn't be using you in the first place. Yeah. So focus on that high dollar ticket and focus on that high dollar customer, period. Yep. Boom. All right. So we've been on here 53 minutes. If we got any questions, we'll answer some here.
I got a good one. Do you mind if I go some? So Michael says, how do I evaluate my market? So guys, can I put a link in here? So guys, listen, 100% free. All right. Okay. And it's worth the money. But if you're a cheap ass or if you don't have the money, I'm teasing. I've been drinking, guys. Bear with me. But if you don't want to buy anything, that's cool. Go to nobitchzone.com. And on the right column there, you can put your name and your email in there, and you get free access to my market research training. 100% free. There's no obligation. It's just the first training module in my course that I have, and it's going to walk you through the module is only about 10 or 15 minutes long. Now you are going to have to do a lot of work, but I'm going to go step by step, showing you how to do your market research for your area. And I did this. I'm going to pull it up while I'm talking so Jason can confirm I'm talking BS. Oh, here it is right here. I already got it pulled up. This spreadsheet, Jason. Yep. So I've got what? I've got 98 zip codes. You can see that I did my market research on, and it's 97 because there's a line on the top. So I've got 21 zip codes that I identified as my top 21, and you can see I've highlighted a few. That's all I've focused on for the last 3 years, marketing wise. So if you go to nobitchzone.com, you can get the same information that I use to do my market research, 100% free.
Talking about training, I wanted to just plug one more time. I only have like 2, maybe 3 spots for in-person training in March of the 20th and 21st. It will be in Cincinnati. I just signed the contract for the place I'm having it at is at Hilton. And I will go over everything you need to know to be a good pressure washer. I go over sales, I go over marketing, and the pressure washing training that I do isn't just you watch me do it. It's you actually go and pressure wash. I have 2 houses that I will be pressure washing, that you will be pressure washing. I show you how to downstream. I show you how to X-jet. I show you how to do soft washing with a mixer valve. I show you everything you need to know how to do pressure washing. You can go check that out at pressurewashhelp.com/in-person. There is a link down in below here, and then that link, it will take you there also.
Just quick, I don't mean to take over here, but Drew Norman, you said, hey, Bobby, if you are prepaid, are you going to send a link for the courses? Drew, if you did the early bird thing back in November, the course has actually been live for like 2 months or longer. Some people, everything's going to spam. So Drew, hit me up on Facebook, and I can send you the link that way, because apparently you're not getting the emails, but it's out there ready to go. Like it's going. So send me a message on Facebook, Drew, and I'll get you set up. And I'm sorry that you haven't got those emails.
So I've seen a bunch of questions about contracts for customers. We never used one. The only contract that I ever had was through my responsibility emails. Once off the house and off the deck, make sure the windows are closed, make sure all that kind of stuff is away from the house, make sure that kind of the water's turned on and all that kind of thing. Then the reason why I did that is, a contract don't mean crap at the end of the day. I don't know if you use any type of contract or not, but
I use one. I don't even have as much as what you have.
Well, that's
as
because it's
terms
not
of
cold
services
down here, so you don't have to worry about the water being turned on.
I only have one contract, and I have a quarterly window cleaning service called Quarter Club, and if they sign up for Quarter Club, they get a freebie on the very first cleaning, but they have to be with us for a month. So I make them sign a contract so that way if they cancel early, they pay for the free service they got.
Pay for the whole
but
thing.
That's the only thing that I've got going.
Gotcha.
So let's see here.
How is Google Ads working for you, Jason Housen? That is how I grew Pressure Wash Cincinnati. Right now it's still a little. What I always say is when people are outside mowing your grass, that is the best time to start running AdWords and even any kind of real market. When you really want to push your marketing, make sure those people are out there mowing their grass, because if they're out there mowing their grass, they're looking at their nasty, dirty house, and that's the only time they're looking at their nasty, dirty house. Really want to get good clicks, you want to go with once they start mowing their grass, that is when we want to start really pushing AdWords or any type of marketing, period, is why I look at that.
Upscale says, my problem is that Bobby's my neighbor.
Competitor only has like 112 reviews, and the one below that only has like 10.
So that guy that has 112, he didn't.
Did he buy them? Or?
He watches my YouTube channel. He learned
he learned how to get them, huh? So that is very good. Now I can tell Bobby some things that he needs to do on his Google My Business, because I looked at it. He's only got 3 photos. Hey, dude,
no, you know what? No, let me tell you what happened. I got verified.
Did you really?
I have a lot of photos. The damn Google person, I noticed I got my thing was not verified, and I called my admin. I'm like, hey, how did our address change on our Google My Business? She's like, well, I got a phone call the other day from Google, and they were wanting to confirm our address. So I told them this was our address, because the house was the address,
and you moved it,
and I didn't want to change it until we got into our new office.
Right.
So now I'm not verified anymore. But I have a new card coming, so I can get re-verified.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure you got a lot of pictures, because his didn't have a lot of pictures when I looked at it.
And there's like a picture of a birthday cake on there. What the hell? Who put a picture of a birthday cake up there?
It's probably that damn horse, like freaking duck thing size, horse duck size.
That's funny. That's funny.
Hey, thanks for the super chat. I appreciate the $10. I really do appreciate that.
Let's see here. I have a ton of photos on all my sites. Facebook business, good. How much traffic to your Google My Business every month? I don't know how much. I will tell you that AdWords is our biggest. That's my biggest lead source too. So I know that was how Jason did it.
And with that being said, even you can go to your Google My Business Insights, and it will tell you how many people are coming and all that kind of thing. If you go into Google My Business and then check into Insights, it's about halfway down, and that will tell you all the information. It'll tell you how many people that found you, the whole 9 yards.
Do you offer AdWords? Someone's asking who I use for AdWords, but I don't want to mention. Do you offer that?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
This guy right here.
PressureWashHelp.com/Google.
And yeah. Did you guys say you both use Jason Guyman for? No, I don't use him for mine. So
you have to go back and find it for his.
Yeah. No, I forgot who Jonathan said, but that's not who I use. So.
How did you get jobs when you first started?
So real quick for me, I've already said this, but you may have came on a little late. I did use a lead generation service called Thumbtack for about 2 months, and then flyers. We ended up just going all in on flyers and made a killing with it. So,
And I did it through Facebook groups. I did Living Social. I did Groupon. I did everything that you're not supposed to do, and I don't tell people to do. But that's why I tell you how to do it, so that way you don't do stupid stuff like I did.
Yeah. Yeah.
At the end of the day. All right.
Who makes y'all's flyers? Who makes you don't do flyers?
I don't do flyers.
I'll give you a couple of options here. First off, so I've got a course called the New Entrepreneur's Toolkit, and it's got a bunch of I've got a handful of clip flyer, postcard designs, stuff like that in there. That's going to be your best bang for the buck, because the toolkit not only has all the stuff that I teach, how I got from $0 to $20,000 a month, but it also has all those downloads and your quote form and all that. Just the designs are worth a lot more than the toolkit. And then, but if you don't want to do that, I use ilycreative.com and teamwashlife.com. Those are the two print services that I use. So,
all right, guys. So we've been on here for a little over an hour. I appreciate everybody. Again, go down in there. I will have links to him, even more stuff that he posted in there. But go down, check out his video. Bobby did an awesome video on how to do a house wash. Make sure you subscribe to his channel. Make sure that you and he's got links into that where you can actually go to also. And with that being said, watch the video. It's great. It's about X-jetting. So if you're in the stucco world or in the concrete world, it's a great way to do it. But even a lot of the steps he goes over is definitely what you need to do. Very common sense about when it comes to that kind of stuff. But he did do a really good video on that. I mean, it is an amazing video.
And you guys have my permission. I put that up there. That's a training video for my company. Like when I have a new hire, they go through that. I put it up on YouTube. You guys have my permission. Download it from YouTube. Add anything to it you want. Use it for your own company for training. So it's out there for you guys.
What do you think your button size horse is? So with that being said, again, I have a couple spots opened up in my pressure washing in online or in my in-person course. It is in March, the 20th and 21st. It's a Friday, Saturday. You do actually do pressure washing. You will go and you will pressure wash a house, actually 2 houses. I show you how to roof clean. I show you how to market. I show you how to set up your Google My Business, the in-person. And I don't just show you how to pressure wash. You actually go hold the gun, and I will show. And then a lot of people be like, well, it's pretty easy to hold the gun. But a lot of people like the little whistle dick hand, you got the shakes or something, and I don't allow that to happen. And so I teach you how to pressure wash the proper way, how to clean different materials, how to clean rust, the whole 9 yards. So with that being said, I want to make sure that you are successful starting out of the gate. I want to help you start, grow, and be successful. That is my goal. And so I appreciate again, everybody on here tonight. Again, Bobby Walker, check out his YouTube channel down there and subscribe to it. He's not over me. He don't have more subscribers to me yet. But if he keeps working on it, he's probably going to beat me because he's on Facebook like all the time. So if you want to follow more of him, he's on Facebook all the time. So go check him out on Facebook also. Again, I'll be here on Wednesday night. I'll see you then. Thanks for all joining in. Thanks, Bobby.
For it's been fun, bro.
Hanging out. We'll definitely have to do another podcast.
Absolutely.
Another live again.
Hey, they're saying my link's not down there. What the hell, man?
It's the link should be down there. If not, I will be getting it down there.
Here, let me help you out here.
Actually, log off and then put it on the bottom.
All right, we'll throw it down there. So, all right. Peace out.
See y'all.
Let's see here. We're stopping this.
In
We're
stream.
stopping in stream.